Hi there, we are Compilo and this video is regarding the interview questions that are being asked for Power BI. One of the common question is mostly experience oriented and where they generally ask like how to split columns by number of characters. So to understand this, let's move to our Power BI. So I have opened Power Query for you in one of the Power BIs and let us see if I have uh, this name column and I want to split this according to number of characters. So let me check where do I have this option. Okay, now I can see split column option here, right? So let's see what is available by delimiter, by number of characters. So this is our question by number of characters. Let's see what happens if I okay, by how many number of characters I want to split. Let's take 3. Okay, random number. All right, I'm not going to work on these 3 options, and neither I'm going to go for these advanced options. Let's check what it gives, in which what we have is like it has split it according to 3 characters, like first 3 characters here, then next characters here, and then next like this. So and then we have name. So accordingly it has split it. So this basically is used in, maybe used in different business scenarios, and accordingly we can work on it. I'll just remove this option from here so that we are just good to go. Okay, let me navigate to the original position, and then what I'm gonna do is I'll just close it. Okay, not now. So this was quite basic question. Okay, okay, what are the types of cardinalities in Power BI? So I have another Power BI opened for you, and let's see what are the cardinalities available. So here we can see there are a relationship between these two tables. So let me click here and then let me check in properties. Right. See, we have option of cardinality, and how many cardinalities are there? So many to one, one to many, and many to many. So there are 4 cardinalities available in Power BI. All right. Okay, I'll just move here and then let's move to next question. What is CountX? So to understand it, let's move to Microsoft Block, and we can see that counts the number of rows that contain a non-blank value or an expression that evaluates to a non-blank value when evaluating an expression over a table, right? So this is the basic syntax of CountX DAX function, where we have to specify the table and the expression. And remember guys, wherever you see X in any DAX, so you have to keep it in mind then that like it will basically require any kind of expression in it. Okay, so the way first example can we can see the first example, CountX product, and then it is getting the list price. Similarly, we have another where we are filtering like these values according to related table, right? Sorry, related DAX. So this was our next question, and let's see. Okay, what is the difference between tree map versus heat map? Okay, so let's see like what a tree map is. Okay, first let me check if I have an open file for, yeah, so this is the tree map. So how, why it is tree map, you can just select it and just check. Okay, this is the option and we have a tree map here. Okay, let me find one heat map for you. Okay, yeah, here I have created a heat map, although it is one of the options. We have different kind of heat maps available. uh, some of them are available as a custom visual, and I have used a matrix, and I have used conditional formatting for that. So basically heat map, if you will notice the difference, so basically here what is there, like we have same like size of squares, but color is different. All right, here we can have same color. There is no mandation that we have to have uh, different color, but the size of the rectangle should be different in tree map, but it is not mandatory in heat map. So this is the major difference in visuals. Okay, okay, what is drill through? So rather than saying it's better if I show you. Uh, okay, I have a continent wise data, and then I have country wise data, and then I have this country. So suppose I want to navigate to this country, and this is here, and if I click on this, so I have an option of drill through. Let's see what it gives. So basically it gives me details of this particular country. So this is the functionality. Suppose we have a bigger picture of something and I want to check some smaller portion of that. Like if I click here in continent wise, and that's why I showed you. And here we have Europe, North America, Asia, South America, Africa, and then Oceania. And suppose I'm interested in South America. Okay, football guys. Okay, so I have drill through. Okay, now if I click country wise cases, so what will happen? It will navigate to next page where we have country wise cases, and it will just limit its data on South America, right? You can see Brazil, and then we have Argentina and many other countries, Chile, right? So that's how. So this is the basic of drill through, and you can just explain according to your like understanding in different interviews. Okay, all right. Now, what is the difference between sum and sum x DAX functions? So to understand it, let's move here and let's check what is sum x function does. The way we discussed about count x, sum x also takes a table name and expression, and basically it sums the values by taking the expression as a parameter. Okay, let's see a example here. So we have sum x, and then it filters this table according to this column value, right? And then it adds overall values. So this is how like sum x works. Now let's see what sum does. Let it load. All right, so it just requires one column value, so it generally doesn't require any expression in that. Let's see the example. So yeah, sum is basically like we can use it in card visual, right? uh, Let me find one, if I can find one expression for you. Suppose I have maybe this. Not this. Let me check here. Yeah, so this is one of this is not the ideal example for you, but yeah, this is how basically we work, in which we have to get the values in as a single column. So we can use this card visual when we are using some function in calculator measure, right? What is next? So next question is mixing different slicers. That is, if I have two slicers on page, how to sync them, right? So basically what interviewers try to understand is, have you used sync slicer functionality? What is it? Let's see the file that I was showing just now. Okay, so you can see on this page I have sports slicer, right? And in this page also I have a sports slicer. Now if I want to filter this data using this slicer, but at the same time I want my next page to be filtered with this same slicer because this is available here. So what we can do is we can check in any option, like here in view we have sync slicer functionality, right? So we can just click here, and I just have to select, and then I have to mention on which pages it should filter. So I know that it is available in page this page, like 3 and then 3A 3B. So I will just select these two, and let me check if it works fine or not. And let me badminton, right? Yeah, so I have badminton values over here. And let me see what is there in 3. Here we have badminton values, right? And so that's how sync slicers work. If we select number like different pages, so accordingly they will start syncing. Now if I select this, and so if I want to uncheck all of them, so we are just once we uncheck this badminton, so here everything will be normal, but because we have already unchecked it, let's see what is here. We still have badminton because it is not synced now, so we will have to uncheck it from here. So this is the basic functionality of sync slicers. All right. Okay, have you used Python add-ons in Power BI? Okay, see, Python add-ons are Python. No, it's not only about Python. It's R also, right? And if you will, check Power Query, so there are options available for Python and R. But it is quite, I I'm not pretty sure like how many times any Power BI developer will get a chance to work on Python. Although we have a interface available but we have to set our environment and our local, and then we can run all our queries. But at the same time we have it's not very ideal to use. Why? See, at first it's not like any Jupyter notebook kind of interface where we can just run code and we get outputs and all, right, as we do in data science, right? Here what we have to do is we have a normal interface where we just write our commands, and it shows the output in this screen. So it becomes quite challenging. So first we have to either we have to use any Jupyter notebook or any other platform to do our analysis to get the output, and then we can just paste our code here so that it can show in Power BI. So this is the basic limitation over here. Okay, what are the data shaping techniques in Power BI? All right. So if you remember, we were just discussing about in transform data. Sorry, Power Query. We have just discussed about what was that splitting different columns according to number of characters. So all the transformations that we do are like a type of data shaping techniques, right? So what are the transformations that are available? Changing the data type, right? Renaming the column, then extracting something, some formatting it, splitting column, right? Doing anything in the like transposing it, right? Pivot and pivot. We have where did it go? I just saw it. Maybe I just overlooked it somewhere. Okay, I have recently seen it somewhere. Yeah, I was discussing about R and Python scripts, right? So yeah, we have options related to pivot and unpivot, and many other options are available. So all these comes under data shaping techniques. So you should not get confused if somebody asks like have you used Power Query, what kind of transformations you have done, or if somebody asks what are the data shaping techniques in Power BI, right? Well, so these were quite a few interview questions, and I hope you have liked them. We'll keep creating couple of more videos for you. Thank you so much.